Okay, so I stopped like the robots series for a moment to so I'm not forget to discuss something. Just very briefly mention something that I was reminded of. This is related to what we've discussed in the last couple of days. It's purely hypothetical, but it's interesting, and that is the question of non-carbon based life forms and what should we expect of their fossil record. It's a good question. First of all, I should say that we certainly have seen non-carbon based life forms in this channel, like even living ones. We've seen it, created by the Neros, of course. And we know that Earth can support non-carbon based life forms. But what about the famous life forms that we deal with? And above all, the trend bacteria. Is the trend bacteria carbon based? I should say that I don't have any way to know, and I don't have any way to speak about such topics because I don't have any way to conduct any kind of material analysis. That will prove, without a doubt that specifically, that the trend bacteria is like that or another. I can tell you that we've seen life forms that are not carbon based because of like where they were, how they are created, in what environments they are created. And this is like in such an environment that, assure us that it's not carbon based. But with regards to trend bacteria, we do know that it's created in the human body for reasons. So, I cannot be certain. My assumption was that it's indeed a carbon-based life form, trend bacteria. That's my assumption, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. What can hint us to the contrary? Again, my assumption was that it's carbon-based, but I might be completely wrong. And we've seen things that advise us strongly to the contrary. But also we've seen things that advise us, strongly that it is actually a carbon-based. So I don't know. So what kind of things, put it into question? Mostly the fact that it's extremophile and it can be created in extremely, hot environments. But it should be said that we know of extremophiles from Earth as well. So it's a question. When I say extremophile, I mean that it can be created like in boiled mixture of oil and beeswax. This was demonstrated many times, and even huge ones, like monstrous ones. But it can, and we've done it, and this is documented very well in this channel. Also, we know that it survived very well in hot temperatures. That's one of the things that makes it such a difficult, such a cool bacteria from the point of view of humans and also of titans. Because you cannot sterilize a mixture from the trend bacteria just by boiling it or using, a simple standard laboratory flamethrower. It will not kill it. You can kill it using fire, and I've done so, but you need like a serious fire, with turpentine, like hot fire for some time, and then it's dead. But not just regular fire, no. And it's a problem, because that's how you sterilize stuff. That's the common way to sterilize stuff. Also, it's a problem because I've discussed it in the past that it's probably this is the reason, for the fact that they don't eat ungulates in Venus. הם לא אוכלים בהמות בוינוס, בנוגה. They do eat fish, but they don't. Regarding birds, I don't know. But they don't do big game. They don't have like the concept of big game hunting like you have in Earth. They don't have big game hunting. And most probably this is the reason, almost certainly, why they still have the T in their body, as opposed to humans that don't have it. Because humans lost it. How did they lose it? Because of big game hunting and the eating of meat. But in Venus they don't eat meat. Even though they do have ungulates, במבי כאלה. אז אם יש להם במבי, למה הם לא אוכלים את הבמבי? כי לא טעים? So, it's a question, to my estimation, almost certainly, Almost certainly because of the train bacteria. Now, it's either that the train bacteria, the ungulate, או שהבמבי הוא host של הטרן בקטריה, it's either the ungulate is like a host of the train bacteria, or, and then, you eat it, you get a train bacteria, or possibly that the ungulate just, is maybe the legs, and the belly of the ungulate might be covered with mud, because that's the way it is, and we know that Venus is contaminated, at least some parts are contaminated with the train bacteria. And so the mud, on the body of the ungulate can contain the train bacteria. So why don't they clean it? Because, of course, they don't need to know, but the microbial, this can be just, these kind of behaviors can be just, just learn behaviors according to, just, to results and consequences. They don't need to know the biology behind it, the science behind it. But it should be said that, there is no way to get it out of the animal. Because when you roast it, it's not enough. You can roast the ungulate, but it's not going to kill the bacteria. And if you roast it, with terrible fire, then, you're left with charcoal. So, what's the point? And this is most probably the reason why they don't eat it in Venus. And this is also why historically they still have the tea, because of, this is discussed in the past, and there are actually microscopic proof of that the tea, the neurons, they disappear, in the vicinity of roasted meat. This was demonstrated in this channel, actually, microscopic evidence for that. Of course, a good reason for Italians not to eat meat at all, and also for humans. Humans should not eat meat as well, because it's just, it's not healthy, and it's just, torture for, the animals, for cows and pigs and sheep. Now let's get back to carbon and non-carbon-based life form. Suppose that we know, there's a question of, suppose that we do have, that the train bacteria or another animal, bacteria or not, is not carbon-based. So what kind of fossil would it leave behind it? The answer is, I don't know, but actually it's very interesting, and I would like, I would be happy to get an answer for that, from the audience. If you have, silicon-based or ammonia-based life form that lives in, environment that is full of carbon-based life forms, for example, Earth. And this is possible because we've seen it with our own eyes. So, when it's dead, what kind of fossil will it leave after that? And will this fossil be dramatically different than an equivalent life form, that looks possibly the same, but it's not, but it is carbon-based, actually? It's a question, I leave it to the audience to discuss.